I'm on mute, mate. I'm on mute. Apologies all. I'm on mute. I've done my whole intro and everything. Well, anyway, look, I'll redo it quickly. Morning, how are you? I hope everyone's okay. Hope Wednesday's going to treat you all well. I was just introing. Apologies again for that. I didn't click that one button that goes green. I didn't press that. Idiot. No, I was just saying we're going to predict the next 5 games: the Man City, Roma, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Chelsea. We're going to be previewing. We're not previewing, so we're going to be talking about those games. We're going to compare it to last year as well. I was also saying I was going to talk about something that I pulled up on Twitter a couple of days ago, which is going to be talking about ex-players actually calling out the current players. And I found it very interesting. And I think it's something that's very relevant to the here and now. And I think it's something that we need to discuss. We're also going to be talking about... there was something else, but I've forgotten. I'll get to it in a minute. And I said, good morning, Spurs. Morning, Dan. Morning, Adventurous. Morning, Chalks Talks Tottenham. I really wish that the Tottenham part was like another rhyme to Chalks and Talks. That'd have been perfect. Hey, Baz, mate, how are you? It's nice to have a break from Spurs. I can't lie. It is a little bit... Obviously, look, I like watching Spurs. I enjoy watching the games to a degree. Not when we lose to Ipswich, apparently, but for the most part, I enjoy watching Spurs. But a break every now and then makes the heart grow fonder. Chalk Talks Walks. I love it. There you go. Chalk Talks Tottenham. Adventurous has hooked you up with a new name. So let's talk about the next 5 games. And I was also saying there is a reason that I haven't actually talked about transfer news. And I know it's something that gets me my most views. It's something that gets me my most interactions, but I also had an attitude of that was a year ago when maybe I was trying to get more subscribers and things like that. And, I'd report on transfer news. And I do occasionally here and there because I think it's always nice to bring it in. And I know a lot of people only click on videos where it's just transfer news because they get excited about players coming in. For me, it really isn't relevant right now. We're in a state of flux that we need to talk about the club right now. Predicting the games in the next sort of month, talking about the issues at the moment is so much more relevant than this player interested in, and half the time it never really goes anywhere. So that's what I talked about. How many players do you think will come back injured? Hopefully none. Hopefully none, mate. I can't lie. I don't want to even predict that they will, but hopefully none. So let's talk the next 5 fixtures. So Man City away is the first game after international break. You got then Roma at home in the Europa League on the Thursday following. Following that is Fulham at home, Bournemouth away, and Chelsea at home. So the next 5 games. I'm not going to talk about Rangers and Southampton and Man United. I'm not talking about them. Just the next 5 games. And I will, by the way, when I do get to Rangers, I'm looking forward to that one because I've just seen Rangers fans basically treating it like their cup final, and I was like, why does every team treat us like their cup final? And it's not because we're the best team in England. It's just they look at it and go, we can actually win that game. And that's why I hate it. But Man City away. Look, last year, Man City away, obviously, we drew 3-3. That was the game that we basically had at centre-half. It was that we were that down bad injuries-wise. I think we went to the game and just thought, let's have a punt. Let's have a punt and just see. And we came out of that game looking at some of those players and thinking, wow, we've got some talent there. Look at Desi Adogi at left back. Wow. Look at Kulusevski stepping up. Look at Giovanni Lo Celso. Oh my word. We're getting all really, really excited by all these players. It's funny what a year can do, hey? Is there any League or FA Cup games in the next 5? No, there's not. I can tell you exactly the next sort of domestic cup game is on the 19th of December, which is the EFL Cup against Manchester United. The FA Cup starts in January for us, I believe. Obviously, it's already started now for the lower division sides, but for us, it will start in January, I'm pretty sure. And this is a game that is poised for chaos. Manchester City have gone on a slide of losing games, which started with us. We beat them in the EFL Cup. And then from then on, they've lost 3 in a row. It's funny that they can break out of that 4-game slide by beating us. And that wouldn't shock me, obviously. It's away at Manchester City. That's not an easy game. That game is actually rather difficult. But wouldn't it be so typical us to win that game? Wouldn't that be so typical? You know, look, oh, look, well, there you go. Look, oh, it's Manchester City away. Look, De Bruyne is probably going to be a bit fitter. You got Haaland. They've get that Manchester City will get healthier, you would expect, over the international break because they've been dealing with some injuries. And it wouldn't be so typical of Spurs to rock up and win that game and everyone go, but you just lost to Ipswich. How are you rocking up to one of the best teams in the world to win that game? It wouldn't even shock me. Now, I don't think we're going to win that game, but it wouldn't bloody shock me. Like, I wouldn't be sitting there doing a review afterwards going, I can't believe we won that game. You know, oh my God. I'd be looking at it going, where was that last time out? You know? But for me, I'll go through my predictions of those games in a minute. So you got Manchester City, then you got Roma at home in the Europa League, which let me just bring up the table because I believe we're seventh, but I will just bring up the table so I don't look like a complete and utter moron. Not like the start of this video where no one could hear me for a second. Right, we are seventh. Yeah, we're seventh at the moment. We are 2 points clear of the next batch of teams. So the first eight get automatically qualified into the next rounds. And then from 9th to 24th is a playoff. And then anyone 25th and below are out of the Europa League. So right now, Man United are in the playoff, Rangers in the playoff, Lyon's in the playoff, Roma in the playoff. So Roma at the moment, 1 win, 2 draws, and a loss, having scored 3, conceded 3 in those 5 games. So conceded wise, brilliant. Scoring wise, naff. So there's that to hold on to. Obviously, getting a new manager at the moment, I think they're linked with Claudio Ranieri. I don't know why it's giving a thumbs up. There is no thumbs on show to give you a thumbs up. Inside Spurs, inside Tide, inside Fried. Yeah, you need to give me a Tide Fried, another one of those. I'll make another channel. We're winning the hard games and losing the easy ones. Oh, well, there we go. We're definitely not winning the games we should win. Sorry, 1 minute. My phone was blipping. Told them to go away. I'm chatting to you lads and lasses. But look, with the Roma game, that for me, I've always said I think we win that game. Man City, obviously, I haven't gone through the scoreline yet or anything like that, but I think we win the Roma game. And I've always said that for a long time. So I don't think it's shocking to anyone. They aren't a good team at the moment, Roma. Now, historically, good team. Right now, they are in a state of misery, to be honest. You know, they gave De Rossi quite a bit of money. Obviously, after he took over from Mourinho, they then sacked De Rossi. I think it's 4 games in. They bring in a new manager who is a mid-table. He's kind of like a Sean Dyche style, you know, sit back, hit on the counter, mid-table kind of guy. That's no disrespect to Sean Dyche, by the way. I bloody love Sean Dyche. Everyone knows that. But that was the situation. He's now gone. I mean, there was talk about De Rossi coming back. There's talk about Claudio Ranieri. You know, I don't really know what their situation is with their manager at the time. I mean, Rangers might sack their manager. Hoffenheim, you know, the teams that we've still got to play in the Europa League all might be getting new managers. Don't know about Elfsborg. I'm not going to comment on that. But 3 of the 4 look like they might be getting new managers, which is just typical for Spurs, isn't it? Just typical for Spurs. But we should still win that game regardless. And if you do win that game, Spurs would have 12 points from 5 games, obviously 4 wins and a loss. And you've got to think you'd be sitting really inside that top 5 and keeping at most distance from everyone below you by 2 points. But you might stretch your lead out to the teams in and around that qualifying place. And you start to go, well, then if you get another win against Elfsborg, you're sitting with 15 points. With obviously a Roma and Elfsborg wins. So you win your home games. You've obviously lost the 1 away game so far. You won an away game so far, sorry. But if you win 1 away game, you've won all 4 home games. And let's say you get a point from either Hoffenheim and Rangers, which we should do, you're through. You shouldn't have any worries. And that's why I'm not worried about the Europa League right now. We should be fine. But we should win that game. It's Roma. No offense to Roma. We should win that game. Okay? We'll beat City. Bloody hell, Charles. Bloody hell, mate. It's not even rogue to say, is it? You know what I mean? It's like, I always say, for some reason, we are Man City's kryptonite. I can't explain it. They can't understand it. We can't understand it. It's just what happens. And it's hilarious because we could be 8th, crap, doing nothing. Man City rock up and we'll beat them. And Man City are like, what? And we're like, I don't know. I don't know how it's happened. We've just lucked into these 3 points, but we're here. you know. And then after that, obviously, Spurs have got Fulham at home. Now, Fulham last season at home, we won 2-0. That was on 23rd of October with Son and Maddison scoring two. I mean, at this time, we still had the main back four of Udogie, Van der Ven, Romero, Porro. The team isn't massively different. I mean, Højbjerg was starting. You might put Bentancur in there. Richarlison started. You'd put Son on the left. Son would play instead of where Son is right now, and that would be Solanke. So the team's not massively different. Fulham are having a good start to this season. They are having a good start to this season, I won't lie. So that is a game that, as much as I think we should win, it's a London derby against a team that is in form and is doing well. So, when you look at the Premier League table at the moment, Fulham right now are in 7th. They're actually ahead of us by 2 points, having conceded the same amount and scoring 7 less. So obviously Spurs are still the top goal scorers in the Premier League, 3rd best XG, which should mean we should be up in 3rd. But you've got to actually score and keep the goals out. Data doesn't always mean everything. But again, yeah, they're above us in the league. You then follow that up with Bournemouth away, who are 1 point behind us in 12th. 4 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, 15 goals scored, 15 goals conceded. Ironically, they just need a draw for a nice balanced line there. But again, they'll concede goals to you. You can score on them. That's the way I look at that. And then you finish off with Chelsea, who are in 3rd at the moment, having scored 21, conceded 13. So we conceded the exact same as Chelsea, having scored more than them as well. So you can see the underlying common theme. All those, sorry, let me just, Fulham, 16, 13. So basically, the 3 teams that we've got in the Premier League after Man City have conceded anywhere between 13 and 15 goals in their 11 games. By the time we play them, they obviously may concede even more. But we should be looking to go, actually, we can get points here. And we should score here. And we should do this. We should do that. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to win all those games 12-0. I'm not predicting that. I'm just saying we have to be somewhat optimistic. The Chelsea game, though, for me, is the most fascinating one because obviously with the Chelsea one, we lost last year 4-1 at home. That game there, I'm expecting more from the team than any of the other 5 games. You lost 4-1. You were top of the league at the time. The season somewhat fell apart after that because Van der Ven gets injured, Maddison gets injured, Romero all gets off, and all that gets happening in one game. You lose your 2 centre-halves and you lose the best player of the season at that time. And it showed we need better quality depth, which I don't think we truly have solved just yet. But I always said Ange needed at least 5 windows. The 5th window would be next summer. And that game is a statement game because that game we should be going in there going, look what happened last time. That isn't happening again. We're going out there to get them this time. And that's what we should have done. New manager bounce for them in the United game. I don't think it'll be a bounce as such by that point because you've got to think by then United would have played 5 games, something like that. So not as much. Maybe the honeymoon period, but I wouldn't say it's a bounce. I always look at a bounce as like 2 or 3 games. The honeymoon period, I look at like 6 to 8 games, Next 6 games, 6 wins or perhaps 1 draw, 5 wins need to happen. Only City will be a tough game. Bournemouth away, mate, is not an easy one. They just beat City at home. Fulham are not an easy game. I actually look at the next 5 games for Spurs. Other than Roma, I look at no easy games there. I look at 4 very difficult games for all different reasons. 2 London derbies. You're away at Bournemouth, who just beat City at home. Obviously, Man City away, they're one of the best teams in the world. For me, if I'm going to go out there, my prediction, I think we lose to City in a competitive sort of 3-2 style game. I think we beat Roma. I think we'll beat Fulham. I think we'll draw to Bournemouth, and it's either a win or a draw. It's Chelsea. Maybe the Chelsea one's more of an optimistic thing where I think the players will show an attitude to rectify the mistakes of last year. But yeah, the Fulham Bournemouth is not an easy game. I think people look at Bournemouth and think, oh, they're not very good. But actually, if you check out Bournemouth this season, they've been a half decent side. Need to win all the home games, hopefully so. But hopefully so. So yeah, there's that. Now let me talk about the ex-players because this is fascinating. So first and foremost, Michael Dawson, obviously former Spurs captain, is ambassador of the club, somewhat of a club legend, you would say. And he was on Sky Sports News, and he said that the players have to take responsibility. The performance on Sunday was lackluster. He called out the transition of the team. He called out basically the lack of desire to attack the ball. The overhead kick being the big one there. He said the ball was up in the air for multiple seconds and no one tried to go near it. He said Ange can't take all the responsibilities. Players have to take some responsibility. He said, I expected poor performances over the course of a season. That happens in every single team. But he has seen too many in the first 11. And I reposted what Dawson said, actually, because I was like, actually, if you do put 2 and 2 together, that's how I feel. I mean, when I reposted it, let me just get up verbatim what I said about it. I said, I think for once the players need to be held more accountable. Too often we blame managers and these players go undetected. Glad people are highlighting them. They get credited when we win, but take zero blame when we lose. And I said, nice one, Dawson, and I thought he was right and I agreed with him because, we talk about, look at how good Kulusevski is. Look at Slanky's goals. And Sonny was incredible. And look at Romero and Van der Ven. Look at Bentancur. Look at his passing, link up, Sar's energy. But we don't say anything about Ange when we win a game. And then when we lose a game, those same players were like, it's a tough one. But Ange, you need to get out of my club. It's like, hang on a second. Whoa, time out. These are the same players that Conte called out. Some of these players are the same players that Mourinho's called out. These are some of these players Nuno called out. So there is an issue there. And putting it all on Ange, I think, is lazy. Now, is Ange at fault for some things? Absolutely. He's the manager. Of course he's going to be at fault for some things. Are the players at fault for something? Yes, they are. That's the beauty of this. I think too many fan pages and too many people are letting them get away scot-free. And then they get upset because Romero's gone to Argentina. Get upset because Solanke's posted some training pictures in England. Grow up. Just grow up, honestly. But what I would say is, when they come back here, and against Man City, look, I don't think we're going to beat Man City, but you bloody better turn up and put some effort in. I don't want to see Kulusevski and Sarr jogging back on a counter-attack. Now, I think Sarr might have been injured, so I might give the benefit of the doubt on that, but I'm not going to really sit there and go, it was the first half. We shouldn't be tired. Definitely a trend with 3 managers calling out some players. Yeah, there you go. There's a thumbs up. That was a genuine. I accidentally put my thumb up for that one. But no, you're right, Adventurous. I think there is a trend. Obviously, there's a common denominator of the higher ups, above Ange being here the whole time for 20 odd years. But if you look at the last 5 years, players have been here. Some of the players have been here for most of that time, and we let a lot of players get away scot-free. Some players get called out. Obviously the verbal abuse of Johnson, some of it has resurfaced because people can't. I think a lot of fans can't work out their own feelings with themselves or with their family or friends. So they take it out on people that think they can't, that they think because they earn all that money, they should be doing X, Y, and Z. Which is hilarious, obviously, because if I turn up to your job and you were having a bad day at work because, maybe you fluffed an assignment and I called you out and verbally abused you, you'd be like, whoa, what the hell? It's like, well, it's the same thing. Money or not, it's the same thing. But I agreed with Dawson. Obviously, then you got Mark Schwarzer, who is a former Premier League goalkeeper. He played for Fulham, he played for Chelsea, he played in a Champions League semi-final for Chelsea. I think he probably played in the final as well, to be fair. But I can't be bothered to check that. I don't really care. But he said, talking to Opta Sport, saying that the tactics can be pointed at, but actually, I think it's the players who are letting him down right now. And I couldn't agree more. I think some of the players are letting him down. I think the lack of leadership at times from some players who talk a good game. I won't lie, there's some players in that squad who talk a real good game. And then when the crap hits the fan, you can see it actually in the performances as well. Some players don't show for the ball. They go, I don't want it. Give it to him over there. Hoof it long. I don't want it just in case I make a mistake. But when you win and you're like, give us the ball, I'm having it, look at me. No, when things are going poorly, that's when I want to see the leadership. I don't give a damn when we're 2-2 up and you go, here you go, mate, you have the penalty. Or tell you what, yeah, I'm getting subbed off, going to clap the fans, look at me. No, I want to see it when things are going poorly. And I want to see you really step up and go, give us the ball. Look, give us the ball. I don't care if someone's on me. Give us the ball, and or it's like being as a winger and going, do you know what? I don't care. I don't care that maybe I've lost a couple of dribbles. Give us the ball. Let me run at this defender again. Because I tell you what, if we had a winger who, let's say, was running at a defender, he lost 3 in a row, he goes for a fourth, I go, great, confidence is there. He's trying. I saw the farming on Twitter. I see it all the time. The farming on Twitter going, of these list of attackers, who do you think is going to be here next season? And they're including Solanke and Odebear. And I'm like, what is going on? You spent 65 million on the striker. He's shown you some reduction. He's also homegrown, which is obviously a big part of this, but you're not going to move him on after a year because obviously there is financial fair play constrictions to all of this. You've got Odebear, who's played a handful of games. Yes, he's got injured, not great, but he's played a handful of games. He looked exciting in those games. And you're all going, do you think he's going to be here next season? This is why Spurs Twitter is one of the worst places, by the way, because a lot of people, and I said in one of my videos, I don't want to say subscribe if you're new and you're welcome for the journey, because I find it unfair, cruel, and wrong to sort of profit and benefit off of a club that's struggling. It's what people call out other YouTubers when, Arsenal Fan TV and people like that, when things were going poorly, their views went rocketing up because, and they lived on it, which if that's you, that's fair enough. For me, I find it difficult to really do that. I've stayed true to the course. I've told you, I call people out when they deserve to be called out. I defend when they deserve to be defended and anywhere in between. But, I find it awkward to say, oh, subscribe, subscribe. Look at us. We're doing crap. But if you subscribe, it's great for me. As much as I want this to be a career, I also, I don't know, I just have some self-respect. I don't know. Rest on the laurels. Some games you just have to tough it out and grind it out and win. Yeah, sometimes you got to play ugly. Sagi's been great with effort this season, chases everything. Yeah, he suits the striker role. Spurs Twitter is so toxic at the moment. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. There's some good people on there. You have to be able to sift through, a lot of rubbish. But once you get through that, you'll see the really good people. And that's why I enjoy Twitter chats, with Bazza. Bazza's in the community, and here I have a good chat with him on Twitter. I feel like you could have a conversation. And that's what I had Twitter like a decade ago. I deleted it because it was horrible. I joined back and it was no better. It was actually worse. But, you find the right people. You have a conversation with them because that's what Twitter should be about. It's about having a conversation, having a discussion and learning from one another, So there was that on, obviously, what Schwartz has said, calling them out. And the last thing I want to bring in is Premier League managers after 50 games, the amount of wins they had. Because our fans twerk. Oh, look at Arsenal. Oh, look at Liverpool. Oh, look at Man City. Like, Man City is a realistic comparison. After 50 games, Klopp and Arteta both had 26 wins. Pep had 36, right? So Pep's the big outlier, but obviously he joined a club, compared to those two clubs, he joined a club that was, in and around the top 4, fighting for trophies, fighting for titles. So he was always going to have a better squad. Klopp joined a mid-table team. Arteta took over basically a mid-table team as well. Ange took over basically what was a mid-table team. So there's a correlation there, right? Ange has won 25 in that time, and that's from 49 games. So Ange's got one more game. If we beat Man City, he did the exact same wins as Klopp and Arteta. So for the fans who you may know, I may know, will twerk about, oh, look at Arsenal, look what they're doing, even though they're years into their situation. Look at Liverpool, what they're doing. Well, the team was built by Klopp over years and years and years. Look at Pep. Well, that's Man City. I don't have to say any more about that. But if you compare us to where they were in their first stint, the first 50 games, we're exactly where they were. And they stuck with their manager and what happens. And that's where I'm going to do it as well. I don't want Conte back. I don't want a Mourinho. I don't want people like that. The managers on the market right now are just no good. None of them are good. People are talking about Potter. It's like, the guy that was handed a blank checkbook who absolutely stunk up the gaff at Chelsea, who, reality-wise, Brighton was built by Tony Bloom, the chairman. He's the one that has a data. He's sacked loads of scouts because his data system's better than them. Their players they sign are from that data system that he has. Wasn't Potter. It wasn't Ashworth. It wasn't anyone like that. It wasn't any of the millions of people that Chelsea have signed. It was Tony Bloom. Look, when Potter left, Brighton actually got better and went into Europe with De Zerbi. So I don't want to hear about Potter. He's crap. Appreciate a shout out. Appreciate the interaction with yourself, Bazza. I like it. Ange had 25. Yeah, he's 25. Sack Ange and your team will continue to be weak minded even after new manager bounce. Keep Ange and piss 8 players off at the club. Maybe find some success. I think there needs to be another mini clear out. Yeah, I do think there needs to be a money clear out. The Johnson hate, I think, is partially because people see him as the essential Daniel Levy signing. Daniel Levy spent 47 million on him. I think that's the big issue. Had he signed him for 25, people wouldn't care half as much. Ange's been signed for 4 seasons. He's not even 18 months in. Yeah, just needs longer than a cup of coffee to see if he can do anything here. People claimed they wanted a rebuild. They cried out for the rebuild. They get the rebuild, and then they don't want to do the rebuild. We tried the win now managers. It didn't work. We tried the rebuild. It's going to take time. You don't want to do it. Find the correlation. Find the issues. So there you go. But yeah, really interesting on the next 5 games. Let me know your thoughts, feelings about the next 5 games. Your wins, your losses, your draws. Do you think we're going to lose all 5? Do you think we're going to win all 5? Do you think we're going to draw all 5? Where is in between in there as well? Give me your thoughts about feelings about Dawson, what he said. Obviously, Mark Schwarzer, the performance of Ange after the 50 games that, comparing to the other, in theory, top 3 managers in the last few years and what they've done as well. Obviously, because Klopp's not here. Got to say the last few years. Obviously, Arne Slot's doing a fantastic job at Liverpool. So not him, because he's doing really well. And, that's harder to make my point. All right. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about all of that. Obviously, I will have a members video out shortly for the members in probably about 3 hours time. That'll be out there. And I'll probably bring back career modes over the next day or 2 as well. Might even do it live. So if we do it live, kick about, watch me play some FIFA, and we'll chat about absolute nonsense for the next bit, however long I do it for. But anyway, enjoy the rest of your mornings, enjoy the rest of your afternoons, wherever you are in this world. Enjoy the rest of your days, and look after yourself. And I'll see you all real soon. Speak a little bit more nonsense about Spurs. Take care, everyone, and peace.